When I bought the land outside Maple Hollow, I thought I'd finally escaped the nonsense of city life and HOA drama. I was wrong. I just didn't know how wrong. Not until the night they burned my orchard to the ground, and watched the flames turn back on them. My name's Eli Thompson, and I'm a retired fire investigator. I spent 25 years studying how fires start, spread, and, when they're mishandled, destroy lives. My retirement dream was simple: to grow apples, peaches, and cherries on my late grandfather's land, 40 acres that had been out of my family for decades until I bought it back. The land bordered the preserve at Maple Hollow, a luxury community run by an HOA notorious for being, well, tyrannical. You know the type: $5 million homes, gleaming driveways, and people who thought property lines were a suggestion, not a boundary. At first, they were polite enough. I'd see them walking dogs along the fence line, sometimes staring through my trees as if they couldn't believe a farm existed so close to their gated paradise. But once my orchard started thriving, and once word spread that I wasn't part of their HOA, their smiles started to twist. The community beautification complaint. It started with a letter. Greater than, Dear Mr. Thompson, the HOA board has received several complaints regarding the visual inconsistency your orchard creates with our community's landscaping standards. While we respect your independence, we encourage you to maintain a more cohesive aesthetic. They wanted me to trim my trees evenly, remove unsightly crates and ladders, and repaint my storage barn in a neutral beige. I laughed. Then I framed the letter and hung it on my barn wall under a sign that said, Not a member, not my problem. 2 days later, they sent another letter, this time accusing me of harboring agricultural pests, and threatening to take measures if I didn't comply with community safety expectations. I didn't respond. I knew their kind: entitled, control-hungry, and used to getting their way. If I pushed back, they'd escalate. But I underestimated how far they'd go. The fire ban. That summer, drought hit Maple Hollow hard. Temperatures soared, and winds whipped dry grass into tinder. The county fire marshal, an old buddy of mine, declared a strict burn ban. No open flames, no brush burns, no fireworks. I posted signs all around my property. No burning, fire ban in effect. The HOA sent their own email blast reminding residents to report any rural burns to the authorities. The irony, as I'd soon find out, would be almost poetic. The HOA president. Her name was Sandra Whitmore, but everyone in town called her Queen Karen. Perfect hair, perfect car, and a voice that could slice glass. She'd been the HOA president for 7 years, and rumor was she'd ruined lives to keep her crown. Sandra didn't like me. From the day I moved in, she'd make little digs at meetings and in passing. Oh, you must love the smell of manure in the morning, or, your little orchard looks quaint next to our community park. She saw me as an eyesore, a reminder that not everyone bowed to her HOA kingdom. The day it happened. It was late August. I was at the farmer's market downtown, selling baskets of peaches and cider. Around 2 p.m., my phone buzzed with a text from my neighbor across the road, a quiet rancher named Pete. Greater than Pete. Eli, your orchard's smoking. I think someone's burning on your property. My heart dropped. I jumped in my truck, broke every speed limit, and tore down the dirt road. Even from half a mile away, I could see the column of smoke rising over my trees. When I pulled up, I saw them. 3 HOA board members: Sandra, a man named Gary, the vice president, and another woman. Standing near my fence, holding shovels and rakes. Behind them, a pile of my trimmed branches and dried brush was on fire. They'd set it inside the fence line, on my property. I slammed on the brakes, jumped out, and yelled, What the hell do you think you're doing? Sandra didn't even flinch. Oh, Eli, she said with that smug grin. We're just helping clear the dry brush near our homes. It's a fire hazard. You really should have kept it tidier. I could barely speak. There's a county ban. You can't burn anything. Gary shrugged. We're following community safety protocol. That's when the wind shifted. A hot gust carried sparks from their little fire straight into the nearest row of peach trees. In seconds, the flames raced up the dry grass, leaping from one trunk to the next. The air went from hot to blistering, Sandra gasped. "Oh no. Put it out. Put it out." But it was too late. The fire had found kindling. My orchard was a tinderbox. I called 911 immediately, shouting into the phone as I grabbed my water pump. "This is Thompson Farm, Maple Hollow Road. Brush fire in progress. It's spreading fast. The flames reverse." When the fire crews arrived, the orchard was half gone. They cut fire breaks and fought like hell, but the wind, the same wind that had fed the flames, suddenly shifted again. Only this time, it blew back toward the HOA's property. I remember standing there, smoke stinging my eyes, as the blaze rolled over the ridge and down into the preserve. Sandra screamed, "No, the homes. Get the hoses." Her perfect world turned to chaos. Fire leapt across her manicured lawns, devoured decorative shrubs, and climbed wooden decks like ladders. One spark hit her cedar roof, and within seconds, her $1 million home was gone. By the time the fire was contained, 6 homes were destroyed. 3 more were heavily damaged. The estimated loss, over $5 million. The investigation. Because of my background, I wasn't just a witness, I was useful. I provided photos, video footage from my security cameras, and fire pattern analysis. The footage clearly showed the HOA members lighting the pile inside my fence. The county fire marshal, my old friend, was livid. He called me personally. "Eli, I've seen stupidity in my day, but this is criminal. They violated a burn ban, trespassed, and started a wildfire. The DA's already building charges." The HOA tried to spin it, of course. Sandra claimed the fire originated on Eli's property, and that they were assisting with fire prevention efforts. But the video proved otherwise. When the footage aired on local news, showing Sandra striking the match, her reputation went up in flames, too. The lawsuits. 3 days later, I got a visit from an insurance adjuster. "Mr. Thompson, we've assessed your losses. Your orchard damage totals around $380,000, trees, irrigation, equipment, labor, and soil loss." He paused. "And, you're going to be paid. In full. The HOA's liability insurance is on the hook." I smiled for the first time in days. "You're serious?" "Oh, they're serious. And their insurer's furious." But that wasn't all. Homeowners within the HOA started suing their own board. Turns out Sandra and her buddies hadn't told the members about their little brush cleanup operation. The fire they caused invalidated their homeowners' policies because they'd broken the law. In short, no coverage, no payout. One resident, a surgeon whose $1.2 million home was reduced to ash, confronted Sandra during a televised town meeting. "You burned down my house. My kids' rooms," he shouted, "all because you wanted the orchard to look better." Sandra tried to talk over him, but the room exploded in outrage. By the end of the month, the entire HOA board had resigned or been arrested. Arson, reckless endangerment, property damage, the list went on. The turnaround. I could have stopped there, but I had a bigger plan. I used my insurance payout and a grant from the state agriculture fund to rebuild, only this time, I went bigger. I replanted fire-resistant hybrids, installed underground sprinklers, and built a natural firebreak between my property and the former HOA community. The kicker: when the HOA dissolved, the burned lots went up for sale at auction. Guess who bought 2 of them? That's right, me. I built a cider house on one lot and a cold storage facility on the other. Locals started calling it Phoenix Orchard. The irony: Sandra's old street sign still stood at the corner, Whitmore Lane. I left it there on purpose. A monument to poetic justice. The interview. Months later, a reporter from the Maple Hollow Gazette came to interview me. "Eli, some people say it's ironic how the fire started with your orchard but ended with the HOA's homes. Do you think that's fair?" I looked out over the rows of young trees, their leaves shimmering in the breeze. "Fires don't care about fairness," I said. "They follow cause and effect. You light a match in the wrong place, nature will handle the rest." She smiled. "Would you ever live near an HOA again?" I chuckled. "Only if they plant trees instead of rules." The epilogue. Karma in full flame. A year later, I attended the sentencing hearing for Sandra and her 2 accomplices. They pled guilty to negligent arson and trespassing, got community service and massive restitution orders. Sandra lost her home, her position, and her reputation. She now volunteers with the Firewise program, teaching about wildfire prevention. I almost felt bad for her. Almost. After the hearing, she approached me in the hallway. Her once flawless hair was dull, her confidence gone. "Eli," she said softly, "I didn't mean for any of this to happen." I studied her face for a long moment. "No one ever does," I replied. "That's why there's a burn ban." And I walked away. 1 year later, Phoenix Orchard flourished. My peaches won a state fair award, my cider business took off, and tourists came from all over to hear the story of the fire that turned back. Every year on the anniversary of the fire, I light one small candle at sunset on the edge of the property, a controlled burn inside a metal lantern. It's not vengeance, it's remembrance. A reminder that arrogance burns brighter than gasoline, and when people think they can control what they don't respect, nature always, always, writes the final chapter. Moral of the story: respect nature, respect boundaries, and never, ever light a fire where you don't belong, because sometimes, the flames come back home.